I understand things were a bit delayed for Mr. Scheer. What happened?
Lots of drama here, not related to the disability tax credit, surprisingly enough. A reporter with Rebel Media showed up here and was barred entry, was escorted out of the facility by first the RCMP and then the the Durham Region Police. He claims he was hit by Mr. Scheer's tour bus as Scheer was leaving the event and is now in custody of Durham Police, was handcuffed at one point. All very strange. The Conservative campaign says he was not accredited as media to this event, and it was not a public event. So if he'd shown up as a member of the public and it had been a public event, he could have got in. But because he wasn't accredited, he wasn't allowed in. And then Scheer also, his announcement was on the disability tax credit was delayed by a group of parents who were advocating for children with autism. They're angry about the cuts made by Ontario Premier Doug Ford that they say are denying the services that their kids need. So Scheer met with them for about 5 minutes before he came in and talked about some of their issues. So this is a recurring theme with the Conservative campaign, is that he really seems to be running hamstrung by the legacy of Doug Ford. And every time Justin Trudeau gets in front of a microphone, he tries to compare Scheer to Doug Ford as much as as Scheer tries to compare Justin Trudeau to Kathleen Wynne, as he did when he was responding to the Liberal platform release yesterday. Now, Scheer hasn't released the Conservative platform either, and he was asked about that at the press conference today. He said he would not commit to releasing it before any of the televised leaders debates. On Wednesday, there's one in Montreal in French, and then the following week, 2 in Ottawa, French and English. He would not commit to putting out his platform before then, but he did say it would be released sometime before voters go to the advance polls, which are scheduled for October 11th. A little bit of vulnerability there for him, because in the debates, Justin Trudeau can come back at him and say, well, hey, I put up my platform. I've got all my costing done here, as incomplete as Mr. Scheer may find it. He can say that the Conservatives haven't released theirs, and the allegation will become, what are you hiding? Why are you not showing this to Canadians sooner so they can make a decision before they start voting?
Right. I just want to touch on a couple of things that you said there, Glenn. The first one, why was the Rebel Media representative arrested if he's alleging the bus hit him?
That is unclear, Jen. I didn't see the incident that he's talking about, and it's really unclear if he's actually been arrested or was simply removed for his own safety, as some of the RCMP officers claim. Now, Andrew Scheer, like all federal leaders, has some RCMP protective staff who travel with him. Of course, the Prime Minister has his protection detail, which always goes with him because he is the Prime Minister, even when he's functioning as Liberal leader. But the party leaders also get their own RCMP, and they were working today in conjunction with Durham Region Police, who actually came to the facility. And Scheer couldn't get into the event where the media avail was, because this was all unfolding kind of in the hallway around it, and he wasn't able to get in. So they had to wait until Durham Police removed this person from Rebel Media, and he was taken outside of the building and had to stay off the property. But maybe well, I don't know. I didn't see it, so I don't know exactly what happened. I do know that Scheer's campaign has 2 of the blue tour buses. One of them you can see behind me, the media travels in. The other one, the leader travels in, and apparently that was the one that was involved in the incident. The Conservative campaign says that no, it didn't hit Mr. Menzies, that in fact he stepped in front of it. But again, we don't have any footage of that, so we don't know what really happened. And I can see just in the distance that he is still standing on the street and hasn't been taken into a police cruiser, of which there are at least 4 here right now. Okay. A lot of drama here today, unexpected. We didn't think an announcement about a disability tax credit would lead to this kind of thing happening, but election campaign and anything can happen.
We actually have vis of that incident, Glenn. We were able to get some. Let's just show our viewers that while we stand by. We see Mr. Menzies, who is with the Rebel organization, being arrested. Let's listen in.
North Korea, Tiananmen Square. I'm just trying to ask Andrew Scheer some questions. Maybe is he going to continue the? That's my stuff there tonight.
Saying all he wanted to do was ask some questions. And Mr. Scheer does have a history with Rebel Media. He disavowed it during his press conference today. Just quickly tell us what he said about that.
Yeah, he has done an interview in the past with Rebel Media, and people consider them to be sort of a right-wing news organization and not sort of an established news organization. And Scheer said that he no longer does interviews with them. And he also repeated that this person today was not allowed in because he was not accredited. There's a complication here for the Scheer campaign, and that is that the campaign manager, Hamish Marshall, was one of the founders of the Rebel originally. I think they've tried to disassociate themselves with that organization as best they could, but it's something that keeps coming up. And today it obviously kind of bit them in a way they weren't expecting. But we had the same issues with Liberal leader Justin Trudeau over the past couple of weeks, where another freelance reporter who was not with an accredited established media organization complained that he was not being allowed in. In fact, the Trudeau campaign had to issue an apology to him because at a public event, this reporter, Andrew Lawton, was lined up to get into it with all the members of the public, and the local police pulled him out and told him he couldn't come in. The Trudeau campaign issued an apology there. So this is sort of an interesting thing that's happening in this election campaign, is you have a lot of media organizations that are not sort of established broadcasters or newspapers that are looking for accreditation to attend these events and to cover them, and they're facing some resistance from the campaigns that aren't really sure whether they should be there or not, Jen.